This is the Bitcoin 1 month overview reading for the month of December 2024. It's currently November 11th, 2024, 12:28 a.m. That's Eastern time. Bitcoin at the time of this reading is $80,920. Just off of all-time highs right now. Blew right past my price target. Still a pretty solid trade would have been in there. And the shuffle video for the December Bitcoin reading was created on October 15th, 2024 at 3:02 p.m. Eastern time. In this video, I'm going to go over the overall trend direction and chart behavior for Bitcoin in the month of December. I'll also give you some chart behavior that'll help to signal the timing of a month's highest high and the timing of the month's lowest low. And then after the day-by-day chart behavior, we'll review October's reading, see what our accuracy was like in October. We'll come back to December. We'll give you one of the best trades that we see for the month of December. And then in the paid version, that's where you get the timing of the month's highest high, lowest lows, and the rest of the trades, as well as Discord trade alerts and live updated trading view charts. I'll show you how to get all that stuff at the end of the video. In this video, we're going to cover the overall trend direction for the month, as well as any important chart events that take place throughout the month. We're also going to cover the week-by-week chart behavior, timing of the peaks and troughs. Then we're going to get into a review of the previous month's reading to give you an idea of what our accuracy really is like. And we're going to give you one of the best trades that we see for the month. The timing, for the most part, is going to be on point to the day, but there will be some cases where the sequence of events, as outlined in the prediction, will remain accurate, but the day might be off plus or minus a day of wiggle room here or there. In other readings, you won't need to plus or minus wiggle room at all. Point being is that you want to follow the sequence of events as outlined by the prediction. When trading this information, you don't want to use price levels as your entry and exits. This is very important. You want to make sure that you're trading with entry and exits based on chart behavior and general timing, but look for the chart behavior. All of that in this video. Stay tuned to watch the review at the end. The overall theme and behavior for the month of December, we should see a notable rally early on in the month, taking us to a key resistance level on a one-year chart scale. At that resistance, we shouldn't linger too long. We should turn around pretty abruptly and decline notably past the point at which we started the rally into the resistance. This behavior is crossed with bumping along resistance sideways behavior. So overall, this is going to be bullish. But remember, it's with a move to resistance, a decline out of resistance, and then probably what we'll see is more bullish behavior towards the end of the month. We'll solidify that as we progress through the reading. The high for the month of December marks a significant trade opportunity on probably a one-year chart scale here. The full card in the high correlator position indicates something improbable, some sort of really improbable and unlikely chart behavior that takes us into the high. So usually this is like a gap up or like a huge move that was like unexpected. Usually this is like a gap up into a high. Either that or it marks a high before like a multi-day high before like a big decline, giving you opportunity. So those are the two ways you could read the full and the high. And then the ace of swords in the low significator position is indicating that either there's a resistance level on a one-year chart scale that's near the low and we decline from that resistance into the low before returning to the resistance, or more likely what we see, the price level at the low, we probably rally out of it and return to it. Whatever the case may be, there's there's most likely more than one low. Matter of fact, it actually looks like there's a resistance level, a one-year chart resistance that we decline from into the low and then probably return, like rally out of the low back into that resistance. Now, I'm going to give you the day-by-day chart behavior, but before I do that, I just want to make sure you're aware. The whole purpose of the channel is to transmute some of the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill, and we do that by following the rule of karma for the channel. It's a threefold agreement between the universe and anybody utilizing this information for personal gain. Nothing wrong with gaining from this information as long as you are simultaneously helping other people. So the way that you do that is you go to our website, Tarot for Traders, to the resources tab. 5% of all profits should be donated forward to a charity, and 5% of the profit should be donated back to the channel through one of these links. If you're international, you can use this app Wise, which is reliable, or you can use crypto. When you click on the crypto tab, you get all these QR codes, so you can donate in a bunch of different cryptos. It leaves you at 90%. That's way more than a stockbroker would ever leave you with. With that said, guys, make sure to follow through on that rule of karma. As long as you do that, the universe considers you an angel investor of the channel. It's going to send it back to you tenfold for following through. Blessings to all my angel investors. Let's get back into it. Quite a bit of volatility on the first. There's a prominent trough and a prominent peak both taking place on the first. So a lot of volatility there. We should see a similar thing going on the second. Maybe not quite as much volatility, but there should also be a prominent trough on a 1 month scale there on the second. And also that trough will probably form from a decline through multiple support levels that starts off of a near overbought peak. The decline through multiple supports on the second will take us into sideways rotation somewhere between the second and the third, and then that sideways rotation will end with a fast send move higher towards the end of the day on the third, or maybe on the fourth, taking us into a key technical price level on a one-year chart scale on the fourth, or maybe on the fifth. And there's a prominent peak and a prominent trough there on the fourth. It looks like there's probably a prominent trough on the fourth and a prominent peak on the fifth. We have a rally through key resistance. We stay above it briefly on the fifth, and then we turn around and we decline back down with a full retracement through that same price level also on the fifth. That's followed by a rally along a diagonal trend line taking us into the sixth. That rally does end with a fast send move higher and then a breakdown through the diagonal trend line with increasing volatility on the way down, and that also takes us into a trough towards the end of the day on the sixth. The seventh, we have a pop and a drop. On the eighth, we have a notable rally on a multi-day scale that takes us into key resistance, where we then turn around and abruptly decline, and when we decline, we revisit a support level important on a multi-day scale that we recently met that was a past opportunity, probably on the cusp of the 8th or the 9th. And then we have a notable reversal on the 9th. Either that or there's significant price swings, but more likely it's a notable reversal with a big move higher into key resistance. Again, maybe it's the same resistance, very likely, as what we saw on the 8th. We either start declining from that resistance also on the 10th, or we decline early, starting early in the day on the 11th, decline pretty notably into sideways rotation after we revisit a support level again, which was recently a past opportunity there on the 11th. We should see sideways rotation and a prominent trough on a one month scale. A significant amount of price change taking place on the 12th. We have a peak early in the day. Okay, so that resistance that we declined from on the 10th, 11th, we decline, do sideways rotation on the 11th, and then a lot of price change off of that sideways rotation to the upside, revisiting the resistance that we fell from on the 10th, 11th. We revisit early in the day on the 12th. Looks from there, we decline pretty notably into another trough on the 13th. Prominent trough on a 1 month scale, midday on the 13th, a notable move higher, followed by a full retracement back down into a trough early in the day on the 14th. On the 14th, we rally into key resistance on a multi-day scale and then decline with consecutively lower spikes up on the way down. Sharp drop right around the cusp of the 14th, 15th, and then we do sideways rotation on the 15th, which quickly turns into a rally, increasing with momentum moving forward through the 16th into the 17th. We have a significant peak on a 1 month chart scale, probably before noon time on the 17th, and then another decline pretty notably on the 18th to revisit a support level that was recently a past opportunity, followed by another big move higher on the 19th, probably a breakout of some kind, and then we meet an important range on the 20th, probably the upper end of a range on the 20th. Pretty mixed, so we're bound within a range on the 20th. We probably go back and forth within a range. On the 21st, we have another decline to revisit a support level we recently met, and we do sideways rotation along that support level, followed by a big move higher and then more sideways rotation at a higher price level. On the 22nd, resistance, that sideways rotation probably takes us into key resistance, and then we decline pretty notably on the 22nd from that resistance. That turns into a U-shaped dip somewhere between the 22nd and the 23rd, and we return to a peak or a prominent peak or crest of some kind late in the day on the 23rd. Another important resistance level there highlighted around the cusp of the 23rd, 24th that we decline from into a prominent trough on a 1 month scale. And we either revisit that resistance level from the 23rd, 24th cusp, we either revisit it on the 24th, or more likely what we do is sideways rotation with a sharp drop into a trough on the 24th towards the end of the day. And then on the 25th, we revisit that resistance from the 23rd, 24th cusp. This is more likely that's where we revisit it with a failed attempt to break through key resistance on the 25th, followed by another decline through key support on the 25th, which is a prominent peak and a prominent trough on a 1 month scale. Decline continues from that failed attempt to break through key resistance on the 25th. Decline continues into the 26th, but at some point on the 26th or on the 27th, that decline ends with a big move to the upside. Somewhere between the 26th and the 27th, decline ends with a big move to the upside. We meet that, and we meet key resistance again somewhere around the 26th, probably towards the cusp of the 26th, 27th, and we probably push through that resistance, pushing the upper end of a range higher on the 26th, 27th as well. That's before a sharp drop on the cusp of the 27th, 28th. It's like we create like a crest. We sell off from it down to and through support. We do a U-shaped reversal on the 28th below support, come back and reuse it as support. And then on the 29th, we have a overbought crest that we sell off from through multiple support levels into a prominent trough again. And that overbought crest likely takes place at key resistance on a 1 year chart scale that we decline from and then return to. Probably on the 29th, but if not on the 29th, then very, very likely on the 30th. If not on the 30th, then I would say probably the first day of the following month, the first trading day of January. But I think it's most likely going to take place on the 29th or the 30th. On the 30th, look out. We successfully find support, multi-day support on the 30th, but finding that support, it's not necessarily to the upside. Like, it's not like we necessarily turn resistance into support. Sometimes it's a big drop, but we stop by finding support. And I think that's probably what it is. It's a big drop, and decline continues on the 31st. Sneak preview for January, a huge move on like a 1 year chart scale and an important support level highlighted on a 1 year chart scale, probably to the, significantly to the upside, but we'll have to look at that in more detail in the January reading. Now, I'm going to give you one of the best trades that I see for the month of December, but before I do that, let's take a look at October and see how we did for the month. So October was interesting. We did really solid for like the first 3 quarters of the month, and then things started to go sideways a little bit, which happens occasionally. But you can see these are examples right here. If you have the access to the live updated trading view charts, this is the type of thing where I draw entry and exit points. You can see there was entry here. We definitely fulfilled that. There was exit here. There was exit here. We fulfilled that. And then there was all these like little micro like overnight swing trades here throughout. These were all really solid. Then right at the end of the month, things went a little haywire. We didn't calm down quite as much as I was expecting, so we missed an entry, and then we just missed the entry again. We've blown through the high price levels that I saw, so we pretty much met the upper end of this range. Everything really has gone according to plan as far as the sequence of events and the highs and the lows, aside from the fact that I just kind of like missed these 2 entry points by a little bit of like a small price range. So really, really solid stuff overall. And people made some serious gains. If you're wondering, the October reading was created on August 4th, 2024 at 7:01 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, one of the best trades that I see for the month of December, I'm going to give you the entry and the exit and then the chart behavior that I see leading into the entry point. It's important to understand the best way to trade this information is with the live updated TradingView charts and live Discord trade alerts. I do not recommend trading this information without that stuff, because sometimes we're just off. Sometimes it's a day off, But if you insist on doing that without further guidance, what I recommend you do is look for the trade behavior, or look for the chart behavior that I'm going to describe leading into the entry point. If that chart behavior transpires accurately, then you enter the trade. If it doesn't, then don't enter the trade. All right, so the entry point is going to be on the 8th, exit is going to be on the 9th, and they should be a backup. So leading into the entry, the chart behavior that we're looking for, there's a peak on the 5th or around the 5th. We should break through resistance momentarily and then break back down through it with a full retracement. And then from that, we have a rally along a diagonal trend line that ends with a fast steady move higher, and then a breakdown through that diagonal trend line with increasing volatility into a trough somewhere around the cusp of the 6-7. That trough, out of it, there should be a pop and a drop, followed by another rally. Pop, drop on the 7th, rally on the 8th. So that rally on the 8th, early in the morning, is where you would enter into short position for an overnight swing. It might even be a day trade. What we'll do is we'll revisit a support level either at the end of the day on the 8th or more likely early in the day on the 9th. We'll revisit a support level on a multi-day scale that we recently met. That's where you want to cash out of that short position. If that ends up failing as an exit, there should be a backup exit towards the cusp of the 9th, 10th. If the 9th, 10th doesn't work, then I would say your last opportunity before it gets really risky is going to be on the 11th in the midst of sideways rotation, probably towards the end of the day. But remember, rule of thumb with SOMeta, always go for the first exit. And if that exit doesn't work, then use the next one as a backup and so on. And that's Bitcoin for December 2024, my friends. If you're interested in taking trading SOMeta analysis to the next level, and you're looking at subscribing to that monthly access, the way that you do that is you go to tarotfortraders.com, hover over order now, click on subscriptions, click on monthly access, subscribe. It's $300 a month, and what it gets you is the paid version with all the best trades, the timing of the highs and the lows to the day on a monthly basis for all of these tickers in crypto right here, as well as the S&P 500. All that, and then Discord trade alerts for these tickers in crypto, as well as the live TradingView charts where I showed you in this video where we draw entry and exits. Much love and appreciation, everybody that goes ahead and supports the channel with that info, and get excited. It's a real game changer. With that said, blessings to all my angel investors. I will see you guys on the next one.